All right. Good evening and good night, and welcome to the It's Your Perspective Talk Show. It is Wednesday, February 25th, 2015. My name is David, a.k.a. Kimba, a.k.a. Christian, alongside
Soup.
Yeah, Soup, we are back. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. until. You can reach us tonight, 340-201-9005. You can also text us on that number as well. Most importantly, you have to go to our website, streaming live from the vi.com. You have to go to that website. When you get on our website, click on Watch Us Live, and guess what, Soup Bills? Us Live. That's how it goes, you know?
Yep.
We do have a special guest in the studio tonight. Steve Bullock is here. He's a St. Croix Virgin Islands educator. Wave to the crowd, Steve. They're seeing you right now. We're just going to continue on a few things here real quick. I just want to let Steve know that we are in the high-tech, low-tech studio, coming to you from an undisclosed location in the beautiful island of St. Croix Virgin Islands. No radio, no TV. A lot of people stop us and say, what station? And all we say is there's no station. You got to go to our website, streaming live from the vi.com, and go on our website. You'll see the show. We have two Facebook pages, It's Your Perspective Talk Show and streaming live from the vi.com. All our recorded live shows are on YouTube and Ustream.tv. Go to either one of those websites and search for our channel, It's Your Perspective Talk Show, and you will see many shows. It's growing every day. I'm adding a video every day there, way back from April of 2014. I want to give a shout out to our CHS class of 1982. If you're out there, hit us up. Let us know how you're doing. Around the corner, all our classmates, hit us up. Shout out to Vanessa Rhythms, Our Great Records, Julie and Cherise King, and all our past guests. Many guests. We're on Twitter. Hit us up at VI Perspective. Tweet with us, and we're moving straight forward and up. This show's mission is just simply to inform and empower everyone. So Soup, as always, Soup blesses the show with the It's Your Perspective poem. Soup, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, bless that mic, man.
Greetings, Rastafari lives. The greatest secret in life is that reality is nothing more than illusion. The physical world does not exist outside of our own belief system and the filter of our own mind. We are, in fact, subparticles of Jah, experiencing creation itself. But as subparticles of Jah, we are swayed over these creation. Everything you have experienced in life, every event, occurrence, object, and person, is nothing more than a figment of your own thoughts, beliefs, and words. The problem is, most of us are still asleep. When you understand this, your entire world shifts, and you come to realize the true meaning of life is thus like a lucid dream. We have total control.
Yes, sir, Soup. That's the It's Your Perspective poem. Soup's been blessing us since April of 2014. Thank you for doing that, man. So as we continue on here, we do have a special guest in the studio tonight. This is Steve Bullock. There he is right there. Welcome to the studio.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks for coming out and spending a little bit of time with us tonight and talking about all kind of fun stuff. Rockets. You wanted to talk about the STEM program.
Right, absolutely.
So tell us all about it. I mean, since I've come back, I've seen you here and there doing things with the rockets, and I guess the biggest thing lately is I saw that I think you got an award or a presentation through NASA or from NASA.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, first thing, let me just commend you for offering this platform for public service in the territory. It's really an added dimension to what we have here in terms of promoting culture, politics, social events. So again, I am grateful for the opportunity to talk a little bit, just ramble along in terms of rocketry and STEM education.
You don't ramble, Mr. Bullock.
Well, it seems it's going to be a fun evening, an exciting evening, and I encourage the listeners, your viewing audience, to tune in, to link on, and and share. Maybe they might have a question, and I'll be gracious enough to offer any clarification. But straight off the bat, yes, you're right. I'm the coordinator of the rocketry program at Elena Christian Junior High School, and I've been doing that for about 15 years.
Okay.
And this program is a nationally recognized program in that we won a national award in 2012 when we participated in the Team America Rocketry Challenge concept competition. And more recently, because the exports in the United States deemed us to be one of the top rocketry schools in the nation, we were invited by NASA to take part in a college level competition in Nevada come June. So hey, a lot of big things happening with the rocketry program.
Definitely. So how is the students in taking all of this thing that's going on around them? Are they into science? Are they into mathematics? Are they enjoying what they're doing with you?
Well, it's kind of funny that you asking that question, because I get that question a lot. Folks they have asked, well, living in a small territory and resources limited, how do I get the students motivated to pursue careers in STEM education? And I'll say that the one thing drives the program. Students are more, I guess, they learn better. They are more obliged to learn science if you show them in a practical way.
Oh, okay.
You see, and in rocketry, we kind of move away from the theory, because you could explain how Newton's laws work in the classroom, but unless you get out in the field and show them how a rocket takes off, how you glide, how you might fly a glider,
right,
how a race car works, they don't get it. So right. Bottom, the students are loving it. They are motivated so much so that the only backdrop, the only downfall is that there's not a rocketry program in the high schools yet.
Okay, and how soon you think they're gonna implement?
Well, I mean, and this is sarcastic. I believe we would have to clone Mr. Bullock. One principal remarked at an award ceremony that he hopes the time come when they could clone people, so that you could have one Mr. Bullock at Elena, and one at the complex, one at Central, and one at Eudora Ken.
Right.
So again, but it calls for passion. It calls for skills and talents, and mostly it calls for an abiding, I guess, respect for our students in terms of what they are capable of doing.
Right.
I always say our students are like gem in the rough. They need to be polished.
Yes.
They need to be encouraged, and hey, you never know. I mean, these students that I have been working with for the last 15 years, I would tell you that they have been awesome, and their parents are very supportive.
Okay.
So how does it work? So this is just junior high. So someone comes into 7th grade.
Yeah.
And is there any kind of criteria to get into the program, or just if the student just has an interest in understanding, rocketry and that kind of stuff?
Right, and that's a good point you're making, David. When be it Juanita Gardine, Paul B. Larson, Lou Muckle, we force invite them to come to maybe a preliminary meeting, and I show them in a very unofficial way what the rocketry program is all about, what requirements in terms of their commitment, because it's one thing to want to be in the rocketry program, want to be an astronaut, but then you have to have the commitment.
Okay.
We don't depend on government for any funding, and this year alone, competing in Nevada, competing in Virginia,
right.
it's a significant, financial. But we have relied on the private sector and some, what you call EDC companies.
Yeah, corporations.
Right, and for years they have been supporting us, including Hovensa.
Right.
Innovative, and because of their support, we've been able to do this year after year without being hamstrung to depend on government funding. Because, as you know, 1 year you might get some funding,
yes.
and then the next year they would tell us, well, hey,
money there,
nothing
yes.
available.
Yes.
But with this program, you have to have a secure, a stream of funding that you could plan your year.
Years, right.
Year with just competing in Virginia, and now that we are competing in Nevada, you could easily
put
say
an next 20 on top of that.
Exactly, but
okay.
Thank God the private sector has really come true for us this year.
Okay. Mr. Bullock, do the students have to take a special? Do they have a special curriculum to be in this program, or just anybody that have the passion that want to come in?
Anybody who has a passion, you're right. Soup, if I may call you.
Yes,
soup,
yes, I.
They show an interest, and we meet with their parents and let them know, what it will take. They have to come to fundraisers, bake sales, pizza sales. But then we require them to have a minimum of a B average in science and math.
Okay.
But still, students who go through a rough patch,
yes.
they might get a C for science in 1 marking period. We don't throw them out,
right.
because you just work with them, and because the rocketry program is such a motivating factor, once we hold it over the head and say, hey, if you don't bring that grade up, you might lose your position, your chance,
right.
your place in the rocketry program. And that works amazingly. These students, they know what it is, and their behavior, that's another thing. They can't be involved in any infraction with other students, with teachers, and they have to be willing to act responsibly, be leaders.
Yes,
so, yes.
How many students are in the program presently?
Right now we have 15, and we open it to 20. But we had 20 at the beginning of the school year, but
right.
for various reasons, to include some parents have relocated after events are closed,
yes.
and then some, there are other issues that students have in terms of getting to a car wash. We do car washes, we do bake sales,
right.
we launch the rockets at Shang Soccer Field, where that is, right?
Yes, in Princess.
Right, and we do our lunches after school on Saturdays or Friday afternoon. So the students have to have some reliable form of transportation.
Right.
So, those are some of the factors. But right now we have 15 in the program from Elena, and we also have 5 from the high school. From the high schools, because since we don't have a program at neither the complex or central, we tell the students, say, when you graduate from Elena, stranger, come back, we will you can retain your space, be part of the program. And as a matter of fact, this year we have 5 high schoolers traveling with us to Virginia and Nevada, who are acting as mentors and captains of the teams, so experience.
Right.
They've been there before.
So beyond the math, science, reading, and those classes, then there's the rocket club.
Right.
So this is extra.
That's extra. Right.
Okay.
It is outside of the regular curriculum.
Okay, and that's where I guess the commitment comes in. Extra commitment.
Right.
Because a lot of kids probably feel after 4 or 5 classes, I want to go home.
Right.
But if you're into it, you'll stay to participate in whatever you have going on that day.
That's right. And now, David, what we have an added, we have a state-of-the-art telescope. Now, I'm not talking about those backyard telescopes. We're talking about significant investment, and that that was funded by the Department of Education.
Okay.
So kudos to them.
Right.
But
So is this like a stationary telescope, or is it, or when you say state of the art, I mean?
it's like top of the line.
Okay.
But it's mobile. It takes good manpower to move it around.
Okay.
But the resolution and the magnification. We tried it out not too long ago, and you actually can see the impact craters on the moon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, and so this Friday we have 30 students going back to the school around 7:30.
Towards the full moon?
Well, it would be like half, maybe.
Rising, because the moon is rising, it's
right,
going up,
right.
it's going
So,
up, right.
But
right.
In astronomy, that's the best time to look at the moon.
Okay.
When it's not full, because
the glare of the light.
There you go.
Yes,
You're a scientist.
It's just common sense. I just kind of,
Too much illumination.
yes.
And then when it's half full, the part that is in shadow actually has amazing perspective, and the landscape can be seen with greater resolution, and
Wow.
a lot of in-depth analysis you can have.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So do your students look out into different galaxies with this? Can you look out into the different galaxies out there too?
Well, in theory, on paper, they say we will be able to look at some of the stars and most of the inner planets,
Right.
like Mars, Jupiter. But they say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So
Yes.
we have not tried it out to that extent yet.
Okay.
But
okay.
Friday night we will know, because we are going to this telescope has an internet, I guess, feature where we can relay, we can upload what we are seeing.
Back out to the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And we
Okay.
can even take pictures.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on here. So, I'm in 7th grade. I got an interest in building rockets, and I joined the program. So, I mean, what happens after that? I mean, is there some type of like formal curriculum that they follow and some hands-on, and then you just kind of build from there?
Right, and that's a good question. Once the student express an interest that they want to join the rocketry club, we kind of immerse them in some workshops on space exploration for the first couple of months. And I have a handbook from NASA that includes actual lesson plans that one can use to do lessons on NASA space exploration, deep space exploration,
Right.
and NASA mission. So I kind of give them, a brief overview for about a month, and then after that, the students they work on mini projects like building paper rockets, building soda bottle rockets, just to get them started.
Right.
And the idea is to see what the skills are. So some students are very good at can cut wood, they can sand, their fingers are very concise in terms of assembling things.
Yes.
So once we see where the skill sets are, I begin to put them into groups, and eventually they begin to, I guess I know what I'm working with. I will get a feel for what I'm working with, and from there it's like you can't stop them.
Okay.
They actually want to come every Saturday. They want to stay after school.
Yes.
And sometimes you do need time for your family.
Of course, of course.
Family time. And if I'm not careful, these students will drag me around everywhere.
So, Mr. Bullock, you are the only person that work with the students with the rocketry?
That's a good question. We have 3 or 4 individuals who act as mentors and coaches. My wife, who is here in the studio, is the head coach.
Okay.
So she has been coaching the rocketry programs for the last 12 years, and I'm the advisor to take care of the school level, the school level requirements.
Right.
Okay.
But in terms of building the rockets, coaching the students on how to fly them, how to assemble the the parachutes and so forth, then she heads up that. And then I have 3 teachers at Elena. I have Miss Shoma Ferdinand. She is an assistant advisor.
Right.
And then I have 2 other teachers, Miss Camille Govaya. She is the assistant coach. And I also have Miss Denise Charles. She's an assistant coach. And then, I have Miss Judith Figueroa, who is an assistant coach as well.
Okay.
So great. I have some wonderful teachers working with the program and on to the competitions. And each year, one of the problems I have is that I get too many requests from teachers who want to go to these competitions, but you got to limit it,
right.
But hopefully this will take off to the other junior highs. And as a matter of fact, next week, Friday, we have been invited by 2 schools on St. Thomas. BCB, as you know, that's Bertha B. Bashalta Middle School.
Middle school, yeah.
And that's Mr. Carvo Faro, the principal.
Right.
And then you also have Antilles School, one of the main private schools over there.
Okay.
Well, they have invited us to come to St. Thomas and introduce their students to racketry and to help them start programs. So we have already secured our tickets. We solicited funding, and just yesterday we paid for our tickets. 13 of them would be going to St. Thomas.
Okay.
To the joys and the excitement of rocketry to our St. Thomian brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And they can't wait to have us come, and we will be launching a rocket for them, and the students can't wait.
Okay.
Mr. Bullock, let me ask you this. Elena Christian now is one of the top 5 schools in the country for rocketry club.
Yes.
What prepared them to get to this level?
All right. Well, for the last 8 years, we have been competing in the Team America Rocketry Challenge,
right,
which is in Virginia. And based on our results last year, we in the 4th round, there are 2 rounds. So like the semi-finals and the finals. In the semi-finals, we were the 100 top teams in the nation, or top schools, are invited to compete in the finals. Now each year, the Team America Rocketry Challenge organizers, who are the National Association of Rocketry and the Aerospace Industries of America, they are the 2 entities heading up this competition, organizing it. Well, they invite schools from across the nation, from 7th grade to high school, to register and to participate. Well, each year for the last 12 years, about 1,000 schools have entered the competition.
Right.
Well, from that, schools will launch their rockets, and the schools in each jurisdiction, 42 states, the District of Columbia, and the VI, we do our launches. We do our launches here, and a Team America Rocketry judge comes to the field to look at our launches,
right,
and determine whether we fit the criteria. And we have 3 chances to do official launches, and he records the scores, the time, and the criteria is that we must launch the rocket. They change the altitude criteria every year.
Right.
Last year it was 825 feet. This year it is 800 feet. So they keep changing it so that what you did last year, you don't just duplicate it and come with any kind of whole rocket.
Right,
so that's 1. Number 2, you have to launch 2 eggs sometimes, or 1 egg, raw egg now.
Yes.
1 year we were doing a bake sale near to Plaza, and one gentleman came up and said, "Mr. Bullock, I have a trick for you so that your egg doesn't break. Before you go to Virginia, cook the egg." I say, "Young man, when you go there, when you go there, they give you the egg.
Don't carry the egg."
So if the egg comes back and it's cracked, you are disqualified.
Wow.
Even though you might have the perfect height.
Yes.
You are disqualified. Even one tiny crack, a minuscule crack, you are disqualified.
Wow.
And number 3, your rocket must, from the time it's launched, by the time they say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you see smoke and fumes and what have you. And it lifts off from the launch pad, they start to count. The time begins.
Right.
And when the rocket goes up, the parachute comes out, it flutters, it comes down. By the time it hits the ground again, it has to be between 48 and 50 seconds.
Wow.
That means it must be in the air for 48 to 50 seconds. If you stay more than 50, points are deducted.
Wow. Okay.
If you stay less than 50, your rocket comes down too fast, points are deducted. So it's really,
this is a serious engineer precise technology that taking place for these young people.
Serious science, man.
Yes, yes.
And so because we did so well last year, we were third in the semi-finals, and then when we flew, they chose the top 42 teams out of the 100.
Right.
So we were in there. But guess what? A storm came over Virginia that same hour. And thunder, lightning, rain, and the rockets, if you know anything about gunpowder, because the engines they work using explosive. There is gunpowder, really, and other derivatives.
Yes.
And they can be exposed to water.
Right.
Think of a bullet.
Yes.
If a bullet is exposed to the elements too much, as you know, they can make a rocket engine, not functional just by dipping it in water. You know that, right? Any explosive device. So the same thing if there was a lot of moisture in the air. So we had 4 false starts. And my daughter who's here, she has been one of the captains for the last 6 years. And so her team was the team that got into the final, into the finals from the 100.
Okay.
And so her team had 4 misfires, and when the rocket actually launched the 5th time, or maybe 3 misfires on the 4th time, the rocket, it kind of went off course because the wind that picked up.
Yes.
And so we ended up 21st, up from 3rd.
Yes.
So
they use all of that against you?
Well, yes, they used the weather against us. And the teams that were number 1, number 2, 4, they all ended up all like 15 or 16.
Okay.
And some team that was like number 8 or 10, I guess the wind kind of slowed down for a couple of seconds when it was their time for launch. And in that small window, they were able to fly accurately. But still we came in 21st. Even though we did so badly in the second round, they ranked us 24th in the nation. And then from the top 25, NASA reached out and sent an email to us inviting us, the top 25 teams, to write a scientific proposal based on certain criteria that they gave us. And we did with the other 24 top teams. And they said they were going to choose the top 5 now. Well, out of the top 25,
you were one of the
we were one of the top 5.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where right now
that's big. That's real big.
We are like top dogs now, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I'm telling you.
Sure, that is huge, man. We supposed to be hearing this all over St. Croix right about now.
I'm telling you,
There's one thing that needs to be blasted out.
Exactly, But then kudos to Governor DeYoung, former Governor DeYoung. One thing you could say of him, he supported this rocketry program.
He liked rockets,
for 8 years. His 8 years, he came to our awards. He actually sponsored, when we won the award in 2012, he sponsored the award ceremony at Government House.
Nice.
No other school has ever had that.
Nice.
Sponsored the trophies. Sponsored the food for 100 parents and teachers. And then he came to award ceremony this past, when was it, April or May? Just before he left. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't think we would ever have a governor, and I'm kind of straying off into politics, but I don't think we would ever have a governor of this territory who will support the Rocketry Club like former Governor DeYoung.
Okay.
I can't go into details, but this guy, he reached out.
Yes.
And he personally lobbied companies and say, hey, you have this rocketry club, you have these children on St. Croix making waves and being ambassadors for the territory.
Yes.
Do something for them, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before you know that, you know, we would get a car, you know, something. Hey, networking. I mean, hey, you know the saying, you got to give a man what is due.
Okay.
You know, and,
Okay.
you know, I say I tip. I don't have a hat. I
Tip it to
the former governor de Young.
Okay.
Mr. Bullock, let me ask you this one thing. I was here thinking as you sitting down there talking. The material that is built for the rockets,
Yes.
is there a certain specification that you have to use?
Yes.
And do the students build the electronic parts for the components of these rockets and all of these things, put this whole thing together?
Right.
Tell me how that works.
Yes or no?
Okay.
Right. For the competition in Virginia, we have to buy the electronics through a vendor.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The device that is used to determine how high the rocket flies, that's called an altimeter. Altimeter.
Altimeter, right.
And it records the height that the rocket flies by sensing the atmospheric pressure,
yes.
as it goes up.
Right.
Yes.
Because as you know, the higher you go up, you know, the lower the pressure is.
Yes.
And there is a certain formula that scientists use to I guess relate pressure with altitude.
Altitude, right.
So they are
right.
able to do that, and they make these altimeters to do that.
Okay.
And so you have to build the rocket in such a way that you have holes. They're called air vents in the side of the rocket.
Right.
So that when the rocket climbs, it sucks
It
air.
breathes
It breathes. Wow,
air.
you were using the right word. It breathes air.
Yes.
And then it automatically, there's a microprocessor in the altimeter that converts it to height. So
Okay.
you know, so when the rocket comes back, it begins to beep. It beeps 7 times for 7.
Okay.
So if your rocket went to 760 feet, it would beep 7, then 6, then 5, and then you would have a pause.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
they know that's 760.
60.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's for the Team America Rocketry Challenge. But for the competition in Nevada that we just got invited to participate, they sent us Sonoma University in California is the organizer of the competition,
Right.
through NASA and some other aerospace entities. So they are like they have the oversight over this competition. That's Sonoma University in California.
Okay.
So what happened is that they will send you the electronics as a kit,
Okay.
and the students are now tasked to not assemble, but to actually solder, put the components, your capacitors, your diodes,
Boards,
your
yes,
sensors,
sensors, yes.
everything on the circuit board.
board.
Circuit
board.
board, yeah.
So now, but they send you instructions, and they give you a little training course, the students, that is, so that they could get an orientation to basic electronics, you know, how you assemble these things, and then the students have to write a computer program after the electronic device. It's called an S4, S as in Sam, and S4 payload, and then after it's assembled, the students would have to program it so that it could communicate with master control.
Okay.
They will
Okay.
know what the rocket is doing when it's flying. So that electronics comes as a kit. We already got it. So now the students are in the process of working, you know, to put it together. My daughter is the captain of the team that did well last year.
Right.
So she is the captain of the team this year. And she's in 12th grade at the complex,
Okay.
getting ready for graduation.
Congratulations.
You know, so again, she has been one of the strong students who have remained in the program. She has actually been to 5 finals at TAC, Team
Yes.
America Rocketry Challenge.
Nice.
So you know, she comes
She have
back
a wealth of experience.
right year after year,
Okay.
and she passes that information on to the 7th and 8th
Eighth
graders.
graders, yes.
And right
Yes.
now we have 4 other high schoolers who are in the program and helping to mentor the younger ones.
Okay. Okay.
Great.
Let me ask you. So let's go back a little bit. So when you talk about the seventh grader coming into the program, I guess there's many areas, I guess, of science.
Yes.
That you teach them, right? I mean, there's expulsion. I'm sure what some of the others are, but you're actually teaching them this stuff. I mean,
yes.
Like a classroom-led environment, and they have to take notes, and then there's probably a test at the end of the week to make sure they're understanding. And then, okay.
Yes, we meet during the lunch break on Wednesdays, and as necessity requires, we will meet on other days. So let me give you how it works. We have 45 minutes on the lunch break,
right,
and the students would come, and for about 5 or 10 minutes they will look at something in the manual, maybe how Newton's first law of motion works, you know, how pressure is related with velocity, terminal velocity. So I kind of expose them to the science behind aerospace engineering.
Okay.
So they get a crash course, and you know, one of the things that I demand from them is that they have to be articulate. Sometimes we are invited on other radio stations, and they go along, and I kind of divvy up the talking points,
right,
and I would say, hey, Raul, I want you to talk about the altimeter. Stephanie, I want you to talk to the audience how the parachute is deployed. Somebody else might talk about what's inside the engine.
Right.
Because many people they're kind of mystified about what's inside the engine. You know, some of them would ask us whether it's gas, petroleum, gunpowder, you know, but it's a composite. You know, it's aluminum based, magnesium based. It's the same, it's a solid propellant, and it's the same propellant that NASA uses in the booster rockets that fly that flew the space shuttles. Is the same solid propellant.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. Bullock.
Yes.
The rocket that the equipment that they send you from the competition to assemble
For Nevada.
from Nevada, is there any way you're going to be able to test this here? No, as you already when you put it together, would you be able to put it through any kind of series of tests?
Yes.
Okay.
In the proposal that we had to write, a 5-page proposal, we had to explain how we are going to test it.
Okay.
Right, and we have to explain who is working on what, who is soldering the ESPO component, who is programming it, and then we had to come up with a scientific project. You're familiar with science projects, right?
Yes.
Every year, most students will do a science project. Well, we had to come up with a hypothesis to explain, to offer a theory, what we hope to prove, how will we test the hypothesis.
Right.
So our hypothesis, in a nutshell, is that we are going to compare air humidity in an equatorial region with the climate in Nevada, which you know is a desert, is an arid climate.
Right.
So you're going from one extreme to the next.
Right.
Now equatorial, you know, is places like Ecuador, Colombia, you know, and places in Africa, you know,
close to the equator.
Yes.
Anything that's close to the equator.
So the challenge is, we can't bring Ecuador to Nevada, as you know,
yes,
right?
Yes, yes.
We can't bring Ecuador to St. Croix.
Right, yes.
So we have to develop a plan. And the plan is that our rocket will have 2 booster rockets on the side.
Wow.
And they're going to supply the engines. These are called high-powered engines. Rocket engines, for the purpose of what we're doing, they are numbered from A to like P. Right, to the letter P.
P.
A is very small for a rocket that would be like the size of you know, that tube that you get inside of a paper towel?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Well, an A rocket would fly that to about 500 feet. Then B, a heavier rocket.
Increase.
C.
Increments.
Well, for the Virginia competition, the rules only allow for F engines. Engines lower than F.
Okay.
But we found out that F give you the best results. For the Nevada rocket, but mind you, in Virginia, the rocket only flies to 800 feet this year. Nevada now, the rocket would fly 1 mile, which is over 5,000 feet.
Wow.
So now you'll have to use an engine that is almost 6 times more powerful than an F engine.
So how big would that rocket be? I mean, you talk about a paper towel tube.
The rocket for Nevada is going to be about 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And about...
It's like a missile.
Yes, and about 5 inches in diameter.
Is this going to be the largest rocket you ever dealt with so far in the competition?
Yes, it's the largest, right. We flew one at the Fair last year, not this year. And that was like 4.5 feet tall. And we had to use a G engine to fly it because we fill it up with seeds. You know the agriculture fair?
Yes.
So we fill it up with all kind of pumpkin, lettuce, cucumber. And when the rocket got to about 800 feet, the nose cone came out and it blew all the seeds all over lower love and upper love. And we told people, hey, watch out, you might have some big pumpkins growing in a few months. You know, but to answer your question, in Nevada, it will require what is called a J or an M engine. A J or an M. Not too far from the most powerful.
Yes,
well,
yes.
It is so powerful that it could lift something about 24 pounds off the ground to about 1,000 feet. But our payload is going to be about 1 pound.
Okay.
So it will lift it to 1 mile. And these rocket engines are so, what's the word? They're so powerful that we can't bring them in from the States. The federal government, hazmat, Homeland Security.
Wow.
You can't. Those can't be shipped outside of the United States. So if we even wanted to try it out down here with a M engine, we couldn't do it. So what we did in our science, in our proposal, we scaled it down so we can use F engines. We'll do everything the same, have the 2 booster rockets on the side, but coming back to how we're going to bring Ecuador or equatorial climate to Nevada, we are going to put 2 pressurized balloons, rubber balloons, in the 2 rockets on the side, and we're going to pressurize water. It's going to be 1 part of water. Sorry, it's going to be 2 parts of water for 3 parts of air. So we're going to pressurize it together in these high-tech rubber balloons to 40 PSI, right? 40 pounds per square inch.
Yes.
That's some pressure there.
Yes, yes.
And then, so we're going to cap it using a trigger, using what you call a valve. And as the rocket flies to 1 mile, when the nose cone comes out, the nose cone is going to pull a valve from out of the cap for the rubber balloons, and the pressurized water vapor will be like immersed into the atmosphere up there, spray out like a garden hose. And this ESPO now, electronic kit, is going to be sensing the atmosphere up there and will record the humidity, which we believe might be 80%, because now we're dealing with water, right?
Yes,
but the way the ESPO works, as the rocket goes up, before the water and the mist is ejected or deployed, the sensor is going to be measuring the humidity going up. So, and you know, Nevada is really dry. So it's going to be measuring the humidity, maybe 10-15%, and all of a sudden you're going to see the graph shows 75%, 80%, 90%. Then you know that something, because of our experiment, we were able to humidify the atmosphere and prove that. And the result will be that we are proving that humidity in equatorial region is significantly higher than in an arid region like Nevada.
Like Nevada, yeah.
So you could see that, you know, it's doable, and I know you would agree with me that based on what you're hearing, you have no doubt that we are going to make people, you know, I guess, wow.
Yes.
We are going to amaze the
Amaze
judges,
them.
you know.
That's right.
And we're going to be
That's
coming
right.
back with the trophies and the gold.
That's it right there.
Yes.
So let me ask you. So when you're testing these rockets, I mean, do you have like? I mean, what if the first launch fails? I mean, do you like okay, launch again?
Well, we hope not, because we only got one S4 kit,
Okay.
and so we would have to hope and protect it as much as possible in the main rocket. That's going to be in a compartment, the payload compartment below the nose cone.
Okay.
So when the nose cone of the big rocket deploys, that compartment is still going to be protected, and you know, we always expect that some things will go wrong.
Right.
But my greatest fear is that the valve might not open.
Okay.
You know, but it's for us to test it, and what happens when without a rocket that is flown without these booster rockets, the rocket engine has part of it is called the reverse thrust. So when the rocket engine is ignited, the exhaust comes out from the bottom, hits the ground, and you know Newton says for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction.
Yes.
So when the exhaust comes out and the flames and fire, hot gases hit the ground, it automatically propels the rocket
back up.
Right?
Yes.
So when the rocket goes up to the maximum altitude called apogee, what happens is that the reverse thrust kicks in.
Okay.
And that's the top of the rocket engine, has a part of it that will be ignited from the hot gases from the bottom part, and that part will blow something like a blasting cap off and will ignite and send hot gases in the opposite direction now, going up to the nose cone, right?
Okay.
And as that happens, the gases will build up because you have a cylinder that is pressurized now, and it will blow the nose cone off. And as it blows the nose cone off, if you don't have something that is called a shock card, which connects the nose cone to the body of the rocket, you will lose the nose cone.
Right.
And we've had flights where the nose cone got blown off, the shock card severed, and the rocket came back, but the nose cone probably ended up in Mummy's room.
Wow.
We saw it floating away.
Okay.
So we hope, I guess we would have to have the strongest shock card that we can find on the market.
Right.
And you know, we're hoping that the technology works. We've done it using the regular rockets where the nose cone ejects and is still attached to the rocket 90% of the time when the rocket hits the ground. So we are hoping that will happen. The only thing, we are going to put 2 secondary shock cards now from the main, connecting the main nose cone over to the 2 booster rockets.
Right.
And those will be connected to the valve. Remember I told you about the valve?
You're right, the valve
Right?
is
So
supposed to open.
as the big nose cone ejects, the pressure, the force will pull the valve open.
Okay.
You know when you have a garden hose, you have to press this
Yes.
to send the water
Right out.
So we're going to configure it in such a way that when that shock card pulls up, it would turn the nozzle or the valve in such a way that it will automatically pull the valve up and open
Gotcha.
the pressurized gas. You know, it's but we got to try it out.
Yes. Let me ask you something, Mr. Bullock. Are these engines reusable?
No, they're not reusable.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question too.
It's
Yeah.
very expensive. The F engines, they run us for anywhere between $25 for one, and most of the times you buy them in a pack of 2.
Okay.
And you get them for like $42.
Right.
But they are non-reusable, and sometimes for the Team America Rocketry Challenge, we every year would end up doing about 24 practice launches.
Right.
Before we finally do our 3 official launches. You know, we got to make sure that you have it put down packed.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, it costs a lot, and it's a lot of trial and error.
Right.
But there are some with the M engines or the J engines, you can buy what you call reloadable rocket engines, where you can have the case and you can buy the internal parts of it,
Right.
which is what they call those the grain of the rocket engine.
Okay.
So some, like the G rocket engine has 3 grains, or 3 I guess the composite part that actually is the heart of the engine. That's the explosive part. You might have 3 of them that you have to put together inside of this case, and you have to put your reverse thrust. You have to assemble your washers, and and so that's another science by itself. But we, for the most part, use engines that are only usable
One time.
Okay.
Yeah.
One time. So moving on. So let's talk a little bit about NASA and the award that you got.
Right.
Does NASA come here when you have these competitions? I mean, did he send a representative to look around and see how we're doing and that kind of stuff?
Well, they don't come here directly, but in every state and every territory, they have what you call National Association of Rocketry members, and they allow senior members to be judges.
Okay.
Right? So a senior member has to have a certain amount of years experience in rocketry, and they have to be a member of the National Association of Rocketry
Right.
for, I think it's 5 years too. Well, on St. Croix, we have a young man by the name of Mr. Clifford Coffey, and he is the only National Association of Rocketry judge in the territory.
Wow.
So we are fortunate that we have somebody on St. Croix, and for the last 5 years, 6 years, he has a federal job, but yet he comes on a Saturdays, on a Friday. Once we give him advance notice, he comes and he evaluates our launches, sends back his report to headquarters, and and that has worked for us.
Okay.
Yep.
So you launch and he holds up a card with a 10 or maybe a card with a 9.
Well, no, he puts he has timers, 3 timers. Then he has 3 individuals who would report back to him.
Mm-hmm.
We can use teachers, we can use parents, and once they show him what the time was and he sees it for himself,
Yes.
then he records it, and then we open the rocket in front of him so he can see if the egg
is cracked. Right.
And then he listens to the beeps from the altimeter and he records it. So it's
Okay.
it's
So-
he's able to determine whether we meet the mark.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I understand correctly, so what you're saying is it's possible to shoot a rocket up with an egg in it and it come down and not be broken?
Right. Well, that's
You mean that's how they do? That's how you have to win the competition.
exactly.
I mean, that seems like a very kind of hard.
Very rigorous. That's
Absolutely.
to show you what the height that these youths are working with.
Right. And the preparation
Listen, that goes into it.
because they have to pad, right?
Exactly.
The rocket, the eggs, and the body of the rocket has to be a certain
certain-
size, so that you're not cramming, you're not forcing the egg down in the tube, and then when the rocket lands, if it has a hard landing, the egg is not broken because of the compression.
Compression.
Okay.
And then the students they have to practice how to wrap it with bubble wrap, right?
Okay.
That stuff that you use when you're mailing things
Yes, yes.
that are what you call it, delicate or
Fragile.
fragile, right? And we use tissue, so we use the bubble wraps. Then over that we put tissue. Then over that we put foam. Because in rocketry science, there's a lot of duplication.
Okay.
Okay.
If something fails, you want something else to kick in,
Right.
and to be a backup so that the whole mission
Mission don't crash.
right. Because
Yes.
the egg is like an astronaut.
He's
So
the
when-
most important thing at this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
So-
the payload.
So I tell the students, when you put the egg in it, view it like a real
Person, yes.
And 2 weeks ago we had an official launch, and it was very windy. Not an official launch, one launch, and it was very windy.
Uh-huh.
So the rocket came back, one of them, and broke. The egg broke. And you know the student, when we took out the egg, they took the egg and they went to one end of Shang Ball Field and actually did a funeral. Prayed over the egg and committed the egg to the ground, and you know, and,
Yes.
and that was, they took it so seriously
Yes.
that they were so, I guess, serious that they didn't want the egg to be broken. And when the egg got broken, they said, Mr. Bullock, we feel bad because our astronaut died.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So NASA. So you received an award from NASA,
Right.
and so what was that? What was that like? I mean, that whole component there.
Okay, well, that was Stephanie's team again in 2012. Well, the whole, all three teams, but Stephanie's team, because of our experience, sometimes we practice the students the night before the competition in the hotel room in Virginia. Man, you can't imagine. We up until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, practicing, showing them how to wrap the parachute, because when the parachute comes out, you don't want to tangle.
Right.
You know, so it has to be wrapped in
A certain way. Right.
So we are up and the competition begins at like 7.
Right.
And we have to take our, well, we rent a van, we have to go to the place where the field where the rockets are launched, and that's about 45 minutes away
Right.
from the hotel. But the short answer is that we did so well in 2012 that we won the National Association of Rocketry Team Spirit and Organizational Award. So that was what it was called. Team Spirit and Organizational Award. They looked at the 100 finalists and they saw how my students were working as a team.
Yes.
And because when we go to Virginia to launch the rocket, the adults, including me as the advisor, cannot be coaching the students.
Okay.
Yes, we got to do all the coaching down here,
Down here,
or
yeah.
in the hotel room.
Okay.
When we get there, they separate all the coaches and advisors from the students.
Wow.
And
So
they go under a tent and they interview them, national TV there and what have you. And you know, you can't call them on your cell phone because they don't want, it has to be student led at that point.
yes.
So they saw how the students were working together, teamwork, and how they were excited going down on the field. Now, in the end, the judges voted that St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Elena Christian Junior High
High
School
school.
is the team that would win the Team Spirit and Organizational Award. We got a beautiful plaque engraved, you know, with our name, and we, you know, we showed it off. And when we came back, Governor DeYoung said, "You guys deserve the biggest award."
Yes.
So then he sponsored the award ceremony at Government House, and at that time, Senator Russell was the president of the legislature.
Okay.
God bless him. Wonderful young man. He personally reached out to his legal fraternity, let me put it that way, and they sponsored the students a ticket to go to St. Thomas legislature to receive a plaque. It's called a Palmer plaque. You know,
Okay.
like when they honor groups.
Yes.
The other day they honored Senator Bell.
Yes.
And a
Yeah.
whole bunch before the 30th legislature
Legislature.
ended. Senator Hansen looked at all the deserving people and they honored a bunch of people, maybe like 8 or so.
Right.
Sometimes it could be a group. Well, Senator Russell sponsored legislation, and they have a beautiful plaque inside the legislature in St. Thomas, and a Palmer one, like a replica
Right.
at the legislature in Frederickstead, Senate building, and we have one in the school. One big, one huge plaque.
Wow.
Like, and what they did, they engrave the actual bill. How they
Yes,
word, how
yes.
these bills are
Worded,
worded.
right.
And so that is engraved on it, and so we got that, and so the students' names that year
Right.
are all engraved for legacy.
See, yes.
And people have been meeting me and say, Bullock, what? I mean, how you get that kind of award? I mean, what you have to do? And the Senator Russell told me personally that such an award is given out very sparingly. You know, it's like
very rare.
It's what you call national.
Yes.
If we were in the States, it would be like President Obama giving
this
something
thing,
for some
yes,
grand, you know, some
yes,
grand feat. And so a bunch of 8th graders and 7th graders and your humble servant here getting our names in the archives and in the I would say in the annals of history.
That's right.
I would pass on, David, and 100 years from now, you'll be able to go in the legislature
and see
Stephanie Bullock, Steve Bullock, you know, Nisha Lazar, you know, all those other students,
yeah.
Chantel, their names in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Their children, grandchildren,
of
be
course,
able to see it.
of course.
That's a tremendous honor.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And we thank Senator Russell, and kudos to former Governor De Young for doing that. You know, and before that point, many of my students had never gone to Government House. And when they went in there, David, they were like, what? You know, and, and the banquet and so on.
Yes, exposed to that,
you know,
that different side of life now, you know.
And those students now, because the governor was like, embraced them so much and believe in them so much, every one of them, they have gone on to study engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering. All of them are in the States.
Nice.
Pursuing. Some of them are working already, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because you see, when you encourage our young people, as they say, the stars
is the limit.
The
That's right.
The sky's the limit. Yeah.
That's right.
You just got to encourage them and support them, you know. And I believe that if I ever run for any elected office, I'm telling you that I would try to sponsor legislation to create a department in government that will be to promote STEM education and science academics. Because, you know, a lot of our children, they shy away from math and science because, you know, it's always said that, you know, it's too hard or, you know, it's too technical. But I believe that if you could imagine it, you can conceive it, you can perceive it like you know, Jesse Jackson said, you can achieve it.
That is the reality. That is the reality. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So our guest tonight is Steve Bullock.
Yes.
The STEM program. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I guess once you get through the junior high school, I guess, you know, you go on to higher education, engineering. But I guess some people can also become astronauts.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's obviously an option there too.
Exactly.
I guess if you're really super committed to it, you can be anybody that has reached on beyond on that kind of level.
Well, we have one student who is presently planning on pursuing meteorology, you know, because of rocketry.
Yes.
We have students who have said that they will like to pursue careers in aeronautical science, but along the way they might branch off into, let's say, biology, and there is room in NASA for biologists.
Right.
You know, in 2030, NASA is planning to send a manned spaceship to Mars, and of course, that mission is going to be lasting for a whole year.
2030.
2030.
Okay.
So you know they have to these astronauts, they would have to
training and preparation, all kind of
food,
stuff.
You know, they have to develop different kind of diet and hibernate. You know, because you're flying for 6 months. You know, and so there's room for biologists. There's room for forensic scientists. Every now and again, a rocket will blow up, as you know.
Of course.
A couple of the space shuttles blow up, and now, you know, you need forensic guys to determine what happened.
What happened,
you know?
yes.
So there's always room. There's a young man from St. Croix who studied agriculture science. He got a scholarship through the, I think it's the FFA, and he went and studied agriculture, and they just announced that he graduated last year with a bachelor's degree in agriculture, and no sooner he finished graduating, NASA recruited him.
Yes.
So he is now working at NASA as an agricultural scientist. And you know, that's part of NASA.
Of course.
You know, you gotta know what kind of food
you're gonna eat and
future, the next generation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So yep, in a nutshell, but the good thing is that all my students eventually go on to study STEM education. And right now at the complex and at Central, about half a dozen of my students for the last 2-3 years are now part of the Tuskegee Institute program that they have there. They have an aviation program that is headed up by Miss Haywood, right there. And what they do, they actually have classes taught. It's an elective, I think, and these students are pursuing their private license through that program. And Miss Haywood is doing a great job there. And she is embracing students who came out from the rocketry program. As a matter of fact, they already have a start to get into aviation. Flying plane is not so much different as commanding a rocket. So that, and so right now I have about 6 students, and 2 of them are already taking classes. They've flown with with instructors, and they have folks from the airport. I'm not advertising them, but they have flying schools here that take them up and show them all the routines, the controls.
The controls,
Right.
Nice.
So what's next for the whole rocket rocketry arena? I mean, any kind of newer technology, anything like that coming up that are you aware of? I mean, rockets flying faster, higher, further.
Well, in terms of NASA, right now NASA has a spacecraft that is heading towards Ceres. Now Ceres is what you call a dwarf planet that is located between Jupiter and Mars. And that area is called asteroid belt. What happened when the Earths were being formed, and I liked your poem, Soup at the beginning. When the Earths were, when the stars and planets were being formed, there's what you call leftover material.
Yes.
Some chunks of rocks went that way, some went this way. They're all floating up there. Now and again, Earth will get hit by one of them. They say that 65 million years ago, one of them asteroid hit the Earth right in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's what caused all the dinosaurs to become extinct. It's a theory, right? I mean, but really and truly, NASA has a lot of missions out there. There's one going right now to Pluto. It's called the New Horizon, and up to 2006, Pluto was a planet. As you know, you learned in grade school that there are 9 planets.
Yes.
Well, the scientists decided that Pluto wasn't a planet. It's just an icy object out there, and it didn't meet the criteria to be.
That was fairly recent, right? When they said that, right?
2006.
Yeah. I remember hearing something about that a long time back.
So about 9 years ago. So Pluto is a dwarf planet, and this planet between Jupiter and Mars, Ceres, has amazed scientists for hundreds of years, going back to to Galileo and Copernicus and all those guys.
Right.
They were intrigued because when they looked through their primitive telescopes, they saw a bright spot on Ceres. And they didn't know what it was, whether it was an active volcano or some atmosphere, or whether it was material left over from an impact crater. But with this spacecraft called Dawn that was launched in 2007, it's now approaching Ceres, and it will be entering Ceres orbit on March 6th. And at that point, it would be only about 24,000 miles above Ceres. And it has some real big cameras on top of the spacecraft Dawn that will zoom in on the surface of Ceres and see what's
going on down there.
Now they believe that Ceres has a frozen ocean.
Right.
And that there might be life. There might be microscopic organisms living in those subsurface water. But they will only know when Dawn gets there and takes some close-up pictures. So that's one mission. And then the spacecraft New Horizon is getting closer to Pluto. And just last week I had a training session with NASA, all the ambassadors. What they told us is that when New Horizon gets close to Pluto, they will be able to determine once and for all whether Pluto is a dwarf planet or whether they should redesignate it a planet
As
again.
a planet again, yeah.
They claim that that's possible, depending on what the spacecraft sees when it gets near to Pluto. And then Pluto has 5 moons, and they're intrigued about what these moons might be, what they might be made up of. So hey, it's a great time to be alive and see what's going on out there in space.
Yeah. do you think that you see some of these futuristic kind of movies, like the Jetsons and those kinds. Do you think at some point we'll be like that here?
Well, that's interesting. One of the things that we just discussed, I had a seminar at Elena this past Saturday with the rocket students, a NASA seminar, and it was on the spacecraft Dawn that is approaching Ceres. And the students, immediately when they saw the spacecraft, they said, Mr. Bullock, this looks like one of those Star Wars vehicles. And indeed, many a times NASA takes ideas from these Star Wars movies.
Yes.
Or you could put it the other way around.
Wrong, that's right. That's
the
right.
movie stars see what NASA is doing, and you're right. Many of these futuristic vehicles could eventually become reality. As a matter of fact, the spacecraft that is going to Ceres right now is not being powered by any conventional engine like what our rockets are being powered by, or by kerosene or alcohol. They use ethanol in some cases, or liquid nitrogen.
Right.
Well, they're not using, none of those is being used for this space age rocket, spacecraft. They're using something that is called ion propulsion. Ion, I-O-N. When you split an atom, or when you, an electron, when you break it into two, you could end up with 2 parts called a cation or an ion. Well, ions are the charged particles that are pushed out from the back of this futuristic engine. That is, well, it's not futuristic anymore because it is being used with Dawn, and the solar panels on top of Dawn captures solar energy, and it is compacted and coalesced together in high frequency beams that are pushed out to the back of the ion propulsion engine, and the force of that,
Get the thrust.
Yes.
It just keeps it going and going.
The thrust of the ion pushes the rocket through space.
Yeah.
And that spacecraft has traveled 1.6 billion miles to get to Ceres, and it is powered by 48 pounds of the gas called krypton. And they have used up 40 pounds of the gas so far. And as it gets closer, like I told you, it's going to enter Ceres orbit on March 6th.
Right.
And at that point, it will be down to just 2 pounds of krypton gas remaining. And they would use that to take pictures, orbit around maybe several dozen times, and eventually the gas is going to run out. Eventually, Dawn is just going to float away and might get stuck right in the orbit around Ceres, and that would be it.
That would be it. Okay.
It would
So
die.
it's just going to just go round and round. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, man. So, Mr. Bullock, is anything that, I know we talked about a lot of things, anything that you wanted to sort of touch on real quick? Maybe we forgot to ask.
Well, I may humor you by saying that one senator said that he hopes that they clone me. But for real, I will retire from the Department of Education sometime in the future, down the road. I hope it's sooner rather than later. Not for lack of excitement and lack of rewards and success from the program. But after a while, we all get, we all affected by age.
Yes,
And, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Thank God that my wife is a coach and my daughter. But after a while, we have to move on. That's why I'm coaching some of the other teachers to take over the program.
Right.
But it calls for a lot of commitment, and and then we have to be supported by government.
Yes.
Yes, I'm blessed to have private companies and so forth supporting us, because they see what we are doing.
Right.
Right now, the Rocket program is almost selling itself. It's marketing itself, because when we go, and we thank God for Plaza as well, they allow us to do bake sales, and many a times we go there and the parents would come out, and people will just come, and they wouldn't want cakes or patés or local drinks. They just want to donate.
Donate,
and
yes.
they would shoot $20, $50,
Right.
and they say, Mr. Bullock, we it's okay with the cake, it's okay with whatever. We see what you're doing, so we want to support you.
Yeah.
And so many companies out there, as soon as I write them or send an email, they know who we are.
Right.
And they would not, many of them might not be able to give us 2,000, 5,000, but they would give us 1,000, 500, 200, but a little bit goes a long way.
Everything counts now.
Everything counts,
Yes,
a
yes.
penny here, a penny on is a penny
Penny
saved.
saved,
A penny
yes.
saved is a
Penny
penny
earned, that's
and so
right.
we thank God for the St. Croix community. And we have a company in Washington right now who heard about us, and they just contacted me that they are willing to to sponsor all the supplies
Wow.
that we need for this year.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Okay.
they told me to submit, a list of all the supplies, and up to $1,500. They gave us a cap.
Yes.
And I did that. And now they responded by saying that they will be getting in touch with me soon, so that they can approve it and maybe send the order to a vendor, or maybe cut us a check and we buy the supplies.
Right.
So this thing, the Rocket Club is now making waves outside of the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one of the things, David, that I would say that, every year, the St. Croix Avis, that's one of my employers. I'm one of the reporters for St. Croix Avis for the last 20 years. And every year, they sponsor a page or two of advertising space.
Okay.
So what we do, the children, the proprietor, the owner for the Avis, doesn't want me to go out and sell the ads, because I will get them sold like tomorrow.
Right, right,
But
yes.
she wants the students to develop what you call business acumen. You follow what I'm saying?
Of
Yes,
course.
yes.
And even make the ad, design the ad on the computer.
Right.
So they've been doing that, and we thank God for them, for the Avis, because every year they give us like $1,500 in advertising space. The students go out, they sell the ads, 10, 12, 15 ads, $100, and you know how it
Yes,
works.
yes.
And we take in the ad, and they place it on a page or two.
Okay.
So that goes a long way.
Yes.
And of course, there are many companies. The VI Lottery supports us. With a little bit of funding every year. Ovensa, they get a lot of knock, they get a lot of fire, but I will tell you, David and Sue, from the day this rocketry club started, Ovensa has been one of our most generous partners. They actually bought our first weather station.
Wow.
For about $2,000, a state-of-the-art weather station. Then when the elements started to, cause it to malfunction, just before they closed a couple of years ago, they sponsored another weather station to make certain that we had a replacement.
Right.
And every year they will still sponsor us, give us a donation. So,
Okay, wow.
an innovative, big sponsor for the last 4 years. They've been coming through with us. As a matter of fact, this year, when I told them that, last year when I told the vice president I was going to retire and leave and turn it over to somebody else, she on radio, on TV, said, Mr. Bullock, the donation we gave you last year, I'm going to double it, right? I think she said, and I'm going to add double what we gave you last year so that you could stay. So eventually She came through, and just maybe about 6 weeks ago, I got a call from her, Mr. Bullock, your check is in my office. And, you know, we were able to buy our tickets to Virginia.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, to take 15 students to Virginia and 4 or 5 chaperones, it ran us close to $10,000.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, you know.
Yes.
You just can't jump on the people plane.
Oh,
and
definitely
say you
not.
will try, you know. I mean, I wrote letters to all the airlines and say, here we're doing this. Can you give us a discount? Discount what?
Yeah.
Looking for the big money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, Nevada, you know, we got support, so we bought our tickets, and, you know, Nevada, that's not cheap.
No,
You know,
definitely not.
A little further away, yeah.
St. Croix is the most eastern part of the United
States.
States, and Black Rock, Nevada. Let me tell you something about Black Rock. Where all these schools and colleges gonna be flying the rockets is desert. It's called a playa. There, you don't have any homes there.
Right.
Because, you know, they shoot big rockets
Rockets there too, right.
So, you know, so Black Rock, Nevada is one of the most western part in the United States. So we're going from the most eastern
to the most western.
So, you know, that doesn't come cheap.
Nope.
Then you talk about hotel accommodation. Then you talk about building the rockets.
Yes.
Then you talk about, you know, all the miscellaneous
things that
expenses,
come with it.
T-shirts, you know, and
Yes.
food, and the parents are chipping in. But hey, you know, but most importantly, the St. Croix community has been very good to us.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So how does someone get a hold of you? Have like a Facebook page, a website,
Yes,
that kind of stuff?
of course, with the Facebook page, you would have to, you know, ask to be a friend.
Yes.
You know, but they can grab hold of me through the school, and the number at the school is 718-44-45, and they could just ask for Mr. Bullock, or, you know, they can actually contact me on the NASA Solar System Ambassador. They have a page designated for all the ambassadors, and I have my profile there. So, David, if you want to get in contact with me, just log on to NASA Solar System Ambassador, click on Steve Bullock profile, and you can leave a tweet or a message or whatever.
Okay.
And they have all my contact information there, and I would be able to contact you.
Okay.
You know, and you can, like I said, you know, you can actually go to VI Rocketeers on Facebook.
Okay. Okay.
And you can, you can contact me there through that.
Okay. So you'll be getting all the stuff, right? Okay. Okay.
Okay, and my daughter, she has there's another. Oh yes, they can also leave a message on, you know, they can even go on Instagram, right? Go on Instagram and contact us there.
Okay.
We will be able to respond to them there. But
Yeah, the social media team over here, right?
right, exactly. You know, that's I leave that up to you guys. Yep, but it's a great journey, David. You know, and we are grateful for the exposure that we are getting through, you know, your program, and you know, we will, as much as possible, continue to update you on what's going on.
Okay.
And hey, you know, when we return from Virginia with the top prize,
You're coming in here
we're
again.
coming here.
That's right.
By the way, in Virginia, the prize money is $60,000.
What?
That is shared among the top 10
teams. Okay.
Okay.
So
if
you
we
get you get $10,000 each.
Well, no, the number one, the champion, they come away with about 15,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Right?
And then it's split down.
And then the second would be like say 13.
Okay.
Okay.
And the third place would be like 11. Man, we missed the third place because of the weather last year. We were running, at one time we were running second, just before the first round ended.
Right.
And then we were third going into the finals. And then, hey, what can
That's
we
how
do?
you go. Yes,
Yeah, the
exactly.
weather
This
came
year we're coming back with first, second and third.
Yes.
So check it out.
Check it out. Okay.
15,000, 13,000,
1,000, 11,000.
Man, we will be large when we come back.
You know?
You know, we will be living large.
yes. According to the young people, we'll be living large.
I'm telling you, you know, and the trophies can done.
Yeah.
Scholarships. I mean, when you go to Virginia, there are recruiters here, the Army, NASA. They're dying to talk to my students. because in aerospace science there are not too many people like you and me. Let's face it,
definitely.
I mean, and so when they see us, as a matter of fact, for some years we were the only people of color, minority. Some teams like from Michigan and California or Philadelphia or wherever, they have like 1 or 2 minorities.
When you see the whole team now,
Chinese or Japanese here, couple of Indians here, but when it comes to minorities that look like you and me, you don't see a whole team looking. So when we go there, David, we get royal treatment. Media coming to hang us. I mean, and they invite all the teams to go to Congress the day before the competition. Everybody end up at Congress in the Kennedy Center to show off our rackets to all the congressmen and women, and they treat us to what you call a reception breakfast, right? And everybody show off our racket. They have tables with every state and the VI name. Our tag is right there. People coming around, over 500 people, doctors, NASA people come in, and so you guys are from the Virgin Islands. We didn't know that they fly rockets in the VI. And when my students start to explain, man, they are dumbfounded. They are flabbergasted. I mean, I'm telling you, and by the way, we invited an astronaut to come to St. Croix about 5 years ago, and he is one of the first minority black astronauts. His name is Leland Melvin, or Melvin Leland. Melvin Leland. If you look him up, Google him. He came to St. Croix, came to Elena to talk to the rocketry students about how to become an astronaut, how to work for NASA. And then last year when we had our award ceremony with the governor, we invited a scientist who works with the National Science Foundation and NASA, and he was our guest speaker. And when he came, he brought a message from NASA director Charles Bolden. And the message to my rocketeers was, NASA is waiting for you. NASA has a job for you. Go, get your education, and come to work at NASA. That was the message that Charles Bolden gave to Mr. Joseph to tell the rocketeers. So I'm telling you, the stars is the limit, and great things are happening. We just have to get it out there. Thanks for your platform, for affording us this opportunity to talk about rocketry, NASA, and all the ancillary areas, engineering, STEM education. And I'm promising you, we are coming back with a trophy from Nevada. We're going to beat the college students. We're going to beat the other 4 schools that would be there with us. And when we come back, I think they will have to roll out the red carpet.
Definitely. Mr. Bullock, thank you very much for coming through. You and your family, continue doing what you're doing. This great work that you're doing with your students. Because this could never end. As you said it best, the stars is the limit. So
exactly. And you have a second. We are planning to take this to another level locally. We are planning to have clubs started at Antilles School, at BCB. We tried starting a club at Complex. They got going, but then it faltered, so it broke up. I'm trying to get it started again. My daughter goes to Complex, and she tried to start it going, to have it going, but you need students who would have the passion,
the interest.
And then we tried to start one at Central, but the problem is that the students from Elena who went to Central, they tried to get one of their teachers to be the advisor. Everybody saying, they would look at it, but then when they hear about coming out Saturday, doing this, putting your hand in your pocket, I mean, I can't tell you how much money I'm
but
it's a worthy cause, and I don't mind, but not every teacher can do that. But we went to Woodson, and we had a meeting over there. We showed the students how the program is done, and they said that they would start something. It hasn't gotten started, but one of the companies that one company on the island, I wouldn't name them, but they're a funeral home, and they bought one of our ads a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things they told us is that there are people who pass on who are former Navy people, Army, what have you,
Yes.
Air Force pilot. And when they pass on, they usually request that their remains are cremated and their remains I guess they're buried at sea, for
Right.
lack of a better term.
Yeah, yes.
Well, usually families would hire a boat, to
Yes.
take the remains out there in the ocean and whatever and then they would have a burial.
Right.
Well, we discussed it with this funeral entity on the island, and we have an idea that we floated that we would actually the students will build a rocket powered by maybe a G engine or whatever
Right.
we can bring in,
Bring in.
and then we will put the remains on the rocket, like how we did the rocket at the agriculture
Yes.
fair with the seeds,
Seeds,
and
and
then
send it.
we'll shoot it over to about 1 mile into the sea.
Right.
And as the parachute comes out, it would blow up. It would blow the
ashes
into the ocean.
Ocean, yes.
And we would do it far cheaper than if you hire a boat to go
Yes,
there,
yes,
and
yes.
whatever, and so that's something we can take this concept to a higher level where it could actually become,
Part of society, part of our everyday routine.
and it could become a business.
Yes.
It
Yes.
could be these youngsters that I'm training could one day say, you know what, Mr. Bullock said that we could turn this into a business. Let me start a business, get it articulated, what have you, and let's try it out.
Right.
You do a couple lunches and see, and you never know where this
It
could
could
take
take you,
you.
that's
It could
right.
take you,
That's
it could
right.
take you to another level.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Mr. Bullock, thank you for coming out, man. I really appreciate it. This has been one of our most anticipated interviews. Just, I guess rockets, it kind of takes us back, or me back, to just being a little boy growing up
Yep.
here, just
Yes.
playing with rockets and
Yeah.
kind of understanding. Definitely want to come out and see some
Some lunches.
Right.
launches, and I want to check out that telescope too.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, come by Friday evening, about 7 at
Okay.
the school.
Uh-huh.
That's where we'll be showing doing a viewing. So 7 o'clock at the school we'll be doing that, and we have teachers, we have parents who'll be coming out, and it should be quite a show.
Right.
Okay.
So you are welcome to come, and also we'll be doing a launch soon, maybe in the next week, because by the end of February we have to have our first official launch done. When
Okay.
the judge came by a couple of times, but just to see what we are
We're
doing,
doing, right.
and give us some pointers.
Okay.
But officially he has to come out before the end of February, around the end of February.
Well, this is this week, Mr. Bullock.
Right, but we're talking maybe Monday.
Okay,
Okay.
got you,
Right,
got you.
You know,
Second or third of March.
right.
Okay.
By the ending of the month, the 4th,
2nd of March, okay,
right?
all
We
right.
still have that window.
There are window to play with.
Right.
Okay.
Right, but
okay.
we would be able to do it, and we'll let you know definitely when we are doing maybe an unofficial launch or an official launch.
Okay.
Yep. But thanks a whole lot, your viewing audience, listening audience, and it has been a pleasure being here. And again, we invite you to come out, see the state of the art rocket launches that we do, and you're more than welcome to support the youngsters. And it's our pleasure to be of service to STEM education and to bring NASA closer to the territory.
That's it right there, man. All right, Soup, any final words, Soup?
Again, thank you, Mr. Bullock. Thank the family. One perfect love, Rastafari lives.
Yeah, we like to say that one perfect love is our prayers and his blessings. When you put them all together, you get one perfect love.
Absolutely.
So that's it for us tonight. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Go to our website, streaming live from thevi.com. Our telephone number is 340-201-9005. And tomorrow's Thursday. Soup's going to get back into his segment. I can't wait. That's another anticipated, what were we calling that, Soup?
Ethiopia Rastafari.
Yeah, there was a name there, but I'll get that all straightened up. But thank you. It's about 9:41, and that's it for us.
All
We're
right.
out. Peace.
Yep.